let's get into it. I think it's going to be the largest talking point of the game, aside from just picking out general performances. VAR, so much VAR. Now, obviously, you guys weren't at the game, and so I don't know how it came across.
Terrible
on the telly.
Fucking terrible.
Shocking.
Yeah. The massive things, obviously, we're saying on telly is just the time of it and the whole setup of it. You know, they've got a screen on the side. They've got someone sat 200 miles away in a fucking car park in fucking, I don't know, Doncaster or something, going yes or no. It's the delay between it. Why can't the keeper just go, the referee, sorry, just say, look at that for me. And when you get a replay at home, because you've all seen it, you can go 2-3 replays within 30 seconds and go, yeah, that's a pen, or whatever the decision is. Why it takes 4 or 5 minutes. And then added to that, everyone who's sat in the stadium, like yourself, of just going, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I think you messaged me, Chris, because we covered the VAR stuff on Live Box the other week, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I kind of said, I'm not that arse one way or the other particular. I don't like the spirit of it. But it was mad. It was the most bizarre, few minutes for all of it, because there's the lad, and I know he watches the YouTube because I've had a go at him on YouTube before, and then his mates come and laughed at me because he got ripped on YouTube. So I don't know if he watches on the website, so I apologise, because you were the nearest and loudest to me. But to the point, they had people around, and he wasn't the only one, by the way, saying things like, fuck it, just give them the goal and get on with it. Just give them the goal and get on with it. And that's and the guy that behind me, I was having a chat with, and I turned around and I said, look, as long as they get the decision right,
yeah.
If it works out in our favour, they can kind of take as long as they want to take. But it was ridiculous, and the problem with it is, it's not suited to being used. Maybe it's suited to other ground. It's not suited to Anfield because we haven't got a big screen, so they can't even show. And even then, you're not allowed to show controversial incidents.
Whose rules are they, though?
What do you mean?
Whose rules are you can't show controversial incidents?
The current Premier League, or maybe
you know what I mean?
I don't say Premier League. I think the current rules for televising stuff inside the game, you can't show
that's
because
dated.
it influences the referee. Yeah,
that's dated, isn't it? Because you want the video to influence the referee in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that rule needs to change. I've been a big thing for it. I've definitely thought that VAR should be used. I wasn't at the game, so I imagine it's even worse when you're at the game. But I looked at that and was like, that's an absolute shit show. There's so many things that are wrong with it. And if not every ground has got a TV screen, you can't use it. It's as simple as that for me, because what you're doing, and I wasn't there, so you'll maybe be able to back me up or tell me to fuck off on this, is you are making the game better for people who are watching it on television than people who are in the stadium.
Exactly. I got the feeling like I was involved in a televised event, rather than, because you're meant to feel like the game is yours. You go there, you pay your money, you turn up and you watch the game, and you get to sing and you shout and you have your little impact on it. That felt like the game was being sent up to, to the high pass. It was being sent up to Sky, and it wasn't. It was BT.
In every other instance, whether you're watching it on Sky as a broadcast or whether you're watching it on stream, there is a delay. You find out first if you're in the ground. You don't in this situation. You have no fucking clue what's going on. This is the only signal that they've come up with, right? That.
And now players are doing it as well.
And now players are doing it, and it's not like...
And unfortunately,
they're doing it all the
West
time.
Brom fans for the entirety of the game.
It's an absolute disgrace. People were going down under a challenge, and it was like a foul, and the referee gave a foul, and there's people on the floor going, and you're like, come on, man!
Yeah.
What's going on here? Because do you want to send them off or something? You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, but the referee made that a thing the second he went back and looked at the penalty decision. And look, again, here's the thing. Why are we sat here complaining about VAR?
It's shit!
No, but because it saved us a goal, and it got us a penalty. And I do wonder whether if Bobby Firmino converts the penalty and we go on, I'd still be saying it needs to be finessed, but I wonder whether we'd be as arsed about it, because if we'd actually managed to take our advantage that it handed to us. I agree, by the way, that I think that the whole system behind it is massively flawed. It looked stupid, it felt stupid. And even from a West Brom perspective, it ruined their third goal as well. Did you see that? I don't know if it was covered on the cameras. So they celebrated and then they stood there and then the referee gave it with this gesture.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, there's 54,000 people in the stadium.
We outnumbered them.
Your decision to award the goal was this, which was obscured from 3 or 4 angles by players surrounding
I thought he was going for a thumb war.
Honestly,
He was offering Chan a little thumb war.
yeah, no, I'm sorry, but do this. Go, oh, goal or something. Give us something. If you're gonna do it, give us cheers up. Because I was like, what? Oh, it was the most anti-climb, and then a few of their players jumped on each other's back. You see the guy getting jumped on, like, the moment's over, mate. Get off. You meant like someone just randomly jumping on you. What was happening at that point? It was pathetic. It was genuinely pathetic. And we need a new. There needs to be a new hand signal. Like, I know it's very rugby or whatever, but it needs to be that.
Goal.
Or, yeah, exactly. Or
well, even here's the thing. I was watching on the telly, right, and the referee goes and he points. Now they've zoomed in on the ref. I don't know which way he's facing. Yeah. So I still don't know whether he's pointing at a goal kick or the fucking centre line to start the game again.
I knew that he'd give for the penalty one. I gathered that he'd given a penalty largely by the fact that people cheered. That was like what I knew what I got for. Right, oh, it's a penalty. It's shit. It is properly shit. It totally ruined it. Like, when he gives the penalty, sorry Ross, when he gives the penalty, there's a massive cheer and we laughed and everyone started chanting VAR and it was funny for a bit. Of course, as I say, we just opened ourselves up to rest Brom, ruining it by chanting VAR for the rest of the game. So the ultimate outcome was okay because
the decisions were fine.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with the way they made the decisions.
It changed. It fucked the flow of the game, and I think particularly if you're going to be a side that relies on going and pressure and hassling, to take 4 or 5 minutes out of the game to slow you down, that managers like Pardew are going to be all over that. They're going to love that kind of stuff. Albeit, he then complained about hamstring injuries as a result, which is total bullshit, by the way. But there's got to be someone tweeted me and said it needs the Jaws music or something. It does. It needs, and that's the way. It's the way. It's the worst. Again, we're talking about it's so championship, but it does. It needs something. It needs a countdown clock, or it needs something to fill that.
I don't get why the fucking referee can't have a mobile phone in his pocket or strapped to his arm like when people go for a jog. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why does he need to run all the way over to the sideline to watch this back? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is,
isn't someone else watching it for him?
Exactly. Yeah, but then he has to make a decision himself. So there's a few things that I think there should be changed to the rule for a start. They're one where they scored from the corner.
Yeah.
And it's terrible defending. He should have first of all, he should be mic'd up. That's the first thing.
So we can hear him.
So you can hear what he's doing. Secondly, he should say, I am checking this for offside, because I think it might be offside. Now, if he doesn't say, I'm checking it for offside and they're offside, I don't think that should be called. Because he should have to see something wrong to go and check it.
Yeah.
Or he should say, I think there might have been a foul on the goalkeeper. And if there's no foul on the goalkeeper, it should stand, because the referees haven't seen anything. I don't know.
No, I mean...
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying,
because what they're saying is, we're just going to check every goal.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's a bit fucking...
Well, this is what I was saying to you the week, isn't it? That's the big problem with it, is that where do you draw the line? Because there's no longer...
the way they've done it now.
Exactly, because I get it. If the ball's in the back of the net, the problem is you're ruining the drama, because you would call for it every single time. All you've got to do is someone goes, ah, and screams and goes down, and the referee's kind of bound to, by the rules to check it back. So you could ruin every single goal that's ever been scored, which is again what I was saying the other week. And then by checking penalty decisions, you're then doing the
you could call a penalty at every corner in football at the moment.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: if it's implemented right and they get it, they shorten that process down, which I think they will, because here's the thing about it. It's a test at the moment, and that I hate being the guinea pig for. It's that we're the guinea pig in this regard, particularly as fans who are in a football ground. They've got to get it right, and that's why again the penalty one was the most ridiculous one, because he went to the thing, and then he was like, "Oh no, I'm going to have a look at it." So you had that mark, and he like sprint, mate. Jog over to the, properly leg it over. You're not doing anything else. Keep yourself warm. Leg it over to the screen. We had no idea I didn't understand the process of what the hell was going on by that point. Or go over the screen first. Just run over just go and then run over and check it yourself, and I've done with it. If they speed the process up and it does, it might have a positive impact on football, and that meaning that you're right. For corners, it's going to stop a lot of agricultural football teams doing what they do. It's going to stop a lot of like share pulling and all this kind of stuff. It might clean up the game as a result, but at the minute,
I don't think it will though, because I get what you're saying. But what you're going to see and what we saw in that game is that every time someone goes down, they're just going to be asking for something. So, for example, you're running through on goal and you think you've been clipped and the referee doesn't stop play. They're just going to sit there and do this.
Yeah.
Check it. It's like, come on.
But if you can check, what I'm saying is, if you can get the now at the minute, you can't imagine it being it cut down to a quick time because it's so long at the moment. It'll never be that long once they get into the swing of it because there'll be a better process for it, I guess. And they have to be super thorough on it while it's testing to know that it actually works in one way or the other. But you're right, there is definitely an issue in that regard. But what there needs to be is more consequence to it. So as an example, someone shouted to me, or I had someone saying behind me, sorry, it's either a penalty or a yellow card. Now, if Mo Salah's called for it, and he's, you know what I mean, if he's dived and he's called for it and he's dived, then he gets booked. So I think there's a check and balance thing to it in that regard, because you're saying that, listen, you're entitled to call for it. You're through on goal and you feel you've been brought down and you think the referee's missed it. Absolutely call for it. But you know what? If you're wrong, then you go in
Here's
the
the thing, though. We're seeing professionals who have played probably one game of football with VAR. Right? What happens in 10 years' time when people have grown up with it? And this is the thing with the American sports, is they're always looking for it. You see it all the time. They're calling for fucking flags every fucking play and all that type of stuff because they've grown up with that. Now, this is their first game and they're already doing it. Yeah. In 10 years' time, when everyone's grown up with it, it's going to be stop-start all day long.
You just need better referees still. It's the same issue. You still need better referees because that becomes referees have to get better at judging when it gets used. That's what it'll boil down to. Because look, an example of it, 15, 20 years ago, ball went out for a throw-in, and you knew it. Everyone appeals for everything now, even when they know quite clearly because they're told, just do it, just chance it. And that's what referees now have to deal with on every side of things. So it's just an extension every time there's anything in football. Footballers are cheats because they have to be cheats because there's so much riding on every single kick of every single ball, and inevitably maybe doesn't make the referee's life any easier other than it clarifies a few decisions here and there and everyone pats themselves on the back because technology's grand, isn't it? But inevitably it won't change anything because it's simply not feasible to do it for every decision. So it will come down, it will have to come, once again, it will all fall down on referees, and then it will be, because in fact you saw it in the Man City game, they didn't use it. And everyone's kicking off going, why is the referee not used? It's the criticism comes back to the referee.
I think going back to it, the referee, when a goal goes in, has to think, did my linesman or did I see anything wrong with that? No, therefore it's a goal, don't check it.
Yeah.
I think you have to see something wrong. One of your team of people needs to see something wrong to check it.
Yeah.
And then you
exactly.
double check it. That's the issue, whereas he just used it to check a goal.
Exactly.
Which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I think he was given. Look, he's bottled it, hasn't he? You know, he's been. People have kicked off. Oh, maybe, but we don't know. Maybe the linesman has gone. I'm not sure.
He actually mouthed, "I'm just going to check this."
Yeah.
For no reason, I think.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like, well, and maybe that's part and parcel of it. You know, because they know it's a thing. They want it. Maybe they wanted it used, which is shit. Again, like they've been handed a mandate.
You can't. Ultimately, it boils down to this: the people who pay the money to go to the game should know more than anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the moment, that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's it. And I just the whole thing is it that because it's there at the minute, there's a novelty value to it, and I guess there's referees probably thinking, well, I'm fucking down. If I've got it and I don't use it, I'm going to get slaughtered because they're going to pick it apart in the television studios. He's probably played it safe for that game, which again is no consolation when you stood around with your thumb up your ass for 4 minutes for a decision. Like, what it led to though was the biggest annoyance of the whole thing. We had 4 minutes added on time at the end of the first half, which if we've long suspected that the injury time at the end of the first half is just an arbitrary figure that the referee makes up. 1 minute, largely. Total bollocks. How the fuck do you get 4 minutes from a game where you had 3 stoppages for VAR and 2 substitutions and 3 goals? Where's where's that coming from? Absolute bollocks. And that's the other thing that leads out of it. The only way you can possibly implement VAR is to go back to, we talked about this middle of last year, is to implement the game clock. And you have, you set the game times as 60 minutes or whatever, they talk about 70 minutes or whatever, and the clock stops, and you get exactly the amount of minutes in that game, and there's no discussion about it, because effectively Liverpool have lost 5 minutes probably of football as a result of that as well. I know West Brom have lost it as well, but yeah, stupid.